I'm embarrassed to say that the first time I was ever at your store, the one in Bel Air, you've got the other one in Sugarland,
Right?
I was trying to focus on you. And instead, I just kept looking at this adorable, look at that dress. I mean, you've got, where was I? And it smells so good. Your store was just such a fun experience. You have teamed up with Sunny. You're going to be part of our holiday Christmas giveaway during the morning show. In the mornings, you're going to be giving away gift certificates. But the store is just such joy filled. How did you become owner of this? Was it in the family? What's your story?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Gosh, we are so excited to be teaming up with Sunny 99.1. It's kind of like, I mean, I feel like we've made it. Like, oh my gosh, we're on Sunny. A long time ago, when I was a little girl in sixth grade, my mom, Maggie Farrar, and her sister, Lexi Ofcharzik, they had a dream of opening up a store. My mom was a school teacher, and my aunt worked in the school office. And both my uncle and my dad were like, "Go for it." And back then, women weren't really opening up businesses like
Right,
they are
right.
today. So when I think back on them, I just marvel at the guts that it took to do that. And because both my mom and aunt needed to work, to help kind of bring to make the ship float for the
Right.
family. Anyway, they started it in a little fourplex in the Montrose area that my parents owned, and they fixed it up, and it was definitely off the beaten path. And back then, it was real country, quilts and dolls and ducks. And do you remember that phase?
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
do.
And anyway, so they started it there, and people came from miles around to come visit, and they just loved, searching for. They have some antiques, and like I said, they did a lot with quilts, and then they'd go to market, and it was a go. It was a slow go, but it was a go. And then they eventually moved to Bel Air and paid like big girl rent.
Right,
And
right.
they were in a little triangular building on Bissonnette, and they stayed there for a little while. The roof leaked and all that, so they ended up moving across the street to a little strip center next to a Radio Shack and Charlie's Barbecue. And then, gosh, it was 20 something years ago when they moved to the location that you visited yesterday.
And we're talking about Magpies. I just want our listeners and viewers to know it's Magpies Gifts.
Yeah, thank you. And we've been around for almost 40 years. So yeah, that dates me if they started in when I was in fifth grade. But yeah, we've been around for a long time. And I don't think ever in their wildest dreams did they think it would have gone this far. But now my mom and aunt are both retired, and they come in every once in a while and, look around. And, I think sometimes it's a little bittersweet to come in, because for so long it was their life. I mean, they started it from the ground up, and I think it was a tough transition for both of them to step back and retire and start enjoying life in different ways. But
yeah, but now you're in charge. They've got to be so proud of you.
They are. I think they are. And my cousins, I could never do this alone. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing how all three of us have different talents that help this business survive. Because if it was up to me, the bills wouldn't get paid, and the books wouldn't be balanced. And I'm definitely more of the creative end. I love doing displays, and I love going to market. And my cousins are the really smart ones. So they do more of the behind the scenes, but then they also do, we all do a little bit of everything. They do some buying too. And as you saw yesterday, we're the gardeners and the janitors and the buyers and the accountants. So
that's the way it works, though. I mean, Mattress Mac is still in his store picking up trash,
But I honestly think that's really what sets businesses apart. People want to see the owner, and they want to see the heart and soul behind a store. People would come just to visit my mom and Aunt Lexi. And it's really just, we laughed for years. People used to call our counter, it's a great big counter. They used to say it was like Cheers. People would belly up and, talk about the reason why they were buying this gift, or a struggle that they were going through, or a child who was suffering, and it was, it's more than gifts. Magpies really is more than
It's
gifts.
called retail therapy. That's where the name came from. I mean, you
Lady,
saw
it's
the
real.
joy.
It's real. It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. So,
Did you know in school, like, did you say as a fifth grader, because you're starting to understand, I think I'm really good at this or this. Did you know that you were going to take over for mom, or did you go, let them do their thing? I'm going in a different direction. How
see,
did you become the owner of this beautiful place? Both these beautiful stores.
well, no. In fact, I saw how hard my mom worked and how tough it was like during Christmas. It's hard. It's hard on your family because you're giving it your all during fourth quarter and you're exhausted when you get
Yeah.
home. And I have three little ones, and I have to remind myself when I drive up in the driveway and I'm about to enter in, and I think, okay, this is my most important job that's about to
Yes.
start. At 7 o'clock at night when I literally could curl up in a ball and go to bed. I'm like, so no, I didn't. I thought, oh gosh, I could never do that. That's way too hard. But then when I was finished with college, I got my degree in education and was going to do that for a while. My cousin Sarah, who's the accountant, called me, who was living in Houston at the time. I was in Austin. She's like, Megan, I think we need to open up a Magpies. And I was like, oh, Sarah, no, it's too hard. And you've got little kids and it'll be too hard for us and too hard for you. And I don't even have a husband. How will I need a husband at a gift shop? Uh, but there were so many customers that shopped at the Bel Air store that lived out in Sugar Land and worked like in the medical center or down or in the, Greenway Plaza area that
Right.
kept saying to my mom, oh, I wish I would open up in Sugar Land. I wish you'd open up in Sugar Land. And at the time I was like, where is Sugar Land? I mean, I don't even know where that place is. And my cousin kept, she persisted. And so we got in the car and we drove out, and this was really before, actually Sugar Land was Fort Bend was the fastest growing county at that time. And
Wow.
so there was the businesswoman in her saw that potential, and I'm glad she pushed the envelope. And so I moved back to Houston and we signed a very scary lease that, in fact, we have the funniest picture. I am like 25 years old, chubby baby face. And we're signing a lease in her kitchen, and her little girl is like hanging over the edge of the, outdated kitchen that she was living in. And we still laugh at it because it was such a big jump. We had to personally guarantee it. And I was like, well, I've got nothing to guarantee. I was living with my grandmother at the time. And yeah, it was a big risk because it was real money and it was a real, commercial real estate outfit that we were signing this lease with. And but it was a go, and it's been a wonderful ride. So at the time, my mom and aunt owned the one in Bel Air, and it was kind of set up like a franchise.
Right. Right.
And then so Sarah and I opened up the one in Sugar Land. And eventually, when Aunt Lexi wanted to retire, we ended up buying her out. And then Sarah's sister Patty bought in, and it was all shuffled around. And so now it's the three of us. We're cousins. Sarah and Patty are sisters. We're cousins, and the three of us, do this together. And it's a beautiful partnership. It
That is
really, it's
I love that. I've got a big family and we're kind of in business together too.
yeah.
You got to kind of walk on eggshells every once in a while, but the
Yes,
whole key is keep the relationship going, be legit, keep the lines of
yes,
communication going, keep
yes,
coals of kindness and lots of grace. And
yes.
I noticed in your store, I was doing a little research over the years, you are very socially conscious. I mean, you got some great items, beautiful, one of a kind gift items, stunning. But you're very concerned about using local people, local artists, local authors, and you give back to a variety of charities. How do you figure out what to do in your crazy busy day? How do you carve out time for giving back?
Well, yeah, I think it's just, organizations that resonate, in our hearts and souls. And, Patty has three children, and, the schools that they went to, or the community the community is why we're there, is why Magpies is still there, especially after COVID. I mean, my goodness.
Yes.
And so, when people reach out and ask for help, it's Magpies. We like to do what we can, in our elementary schools, or our just the city of Bel Air, the city of Sugar Land. Wow, the city of the county of Fort Bend has supported us so much, especially through COVID. We're just, it's like a give and take. We're there because they've helped us, and they like us there because we enrich their community. And it's just a beautiful symbiotic relationship, I guess I would say.
That is
And
amazing.
as far as local artists, a lot of them come in and, show us their wares. And sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. And sometimes I'll keep their name, for later, if when we have inventory needs. But it's fun to go into a store where you don't see things that you see everywhere,
Right,
So
right.
we're constantly on the hunt for, well-priced items or unusual items, or items that just, tell a story or help support a cause that we believe in. And I'm huge on American made. I just believe in, we just love America at Magpies, and we want to, help our economy and hire artisans here in America that can help keep our beautiful nation rolling.
There are so many talented people here in Houston that are now learning about you. I mean, I'm embarrassed that I had never gone before. I had heard because I listened to Michael Berry, and I know you're all over Michael Berry, all over. And I kept going, I've got to go there. I've got to go there. And it was one of our dear saleswomen that said, Dana, come with me. And I was like, where have I been all these years? It's just such, like I said, it's a joy-filled place. And you've got items, one-of-a-kind items for men, for babies, for kids, for women, everybody in between. It's just filled with love and softness and smells and charcuterie boards. And you've got charcuterie boards. You've got authors, local authors, who's actually written the most beautiful book. It's a great idea for Christmas. You got the charcuterie board there. You've got all kinds of sauces locally made. And then
Yes.
this beautiful book by a local author. Tell us about that author.
So, okay, gosh, I wish I had the book in front of me, and I wish I knew her. Is it her? Her name is Megan. I can
Uh-huh.
remember that. But
Right.
she came out with this book last year called Beautiful Boards, and the charcuterie thing is so in right now.
It
People,
is.
yes, and so she created this book that basically just spells out, you buy a jar of pickles, buy a jar of olives, you get, cherry tomatoes here, and then voila, you've got a Christmas tree charcuterie
Beautiful.
board, or a snowman, or for popcorn, for movie night, this darling popcorn scene. And I mean, it's just so cute and clever. So last year we just sold, I think I told you, we sold like close to 1,000 of that book until there were no more to be had. So
I
that was
can't
like the
believe
gift of the season last year. And so with the success of that book, she came out with one called Spectacular Spreads that takes it kind of to the next level, like other items that you can serve with your charcuterie board or your theme night. And she's just so clever. And I love a cookbook or just an idea book like that has great pictures.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
picture is just worth a million words in this
right.
case. So anyway, so we've got so that book launched, I believe it was September 1st. So we've got loads of those. We've got loads of charcuterie boards. We've got great little food items to pair with it. We carry the Jed's jalapenos, which I think you were referring to earlier.
Yes.
A guy that we love from West U. Actually, he went to St. John's High School years ago, and he started this business. And they're sweet cured jalapenos, and it's kind of become our neighbor gift. Every year we pass out our jars, and just interesting gifts like that. We've got great Bloody Mary mix by a local guy
You
here.
mentioned that. You were like, your eyes lit up. You've got to try this.
Yes, it's delicious. So anyway, we've just got lots of great ideas for men and women, and that won't break the bank, but will just show that you're thoughtful and you're thinking of others during the season.
What is it about you that you've learned over the years? I mean, I always and I go back to Mattress Mac because he's like the epitome of an
Oh,
entrepreneur.
yes.
The essence of living is giving, and I know he's gone through years of struggle to get to where he is today. To see what brings true inner joy,
Yeah.
and what is it for you? I always love to ask my guests, my women who make this city sparkle. What is it about your life that makes you wake up with joy? What are you doing, thinking, focusing on that makes you the motivated, happy woman, you a joyful woman that because we're not always happy, but we can be
Agreed.
filled with joy even in tough times. What's it for you?
It's so interesting that you're asking me this question, and because we had a t-shirt a couple of years ago at Christmas time that said joy real big. And we all bought them at the shop and we all wore them. And I will never forget, one morning I went to go put it on. And I thought, I cannot wear this shirt. I am not joy filled today. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. And then it dawned on me that joy is not my circumstance. It is a gift from the Spirit. And when you start with that and you realize I can have joy even when the circumstances are rough, I can have joy. And when you start out with that, then you just realize all of that, when your customers walk through the door and you have business and you've got employees that are happy and you see neighbors that are reunited and after finals at Texas and they come home and they see their neighbors and people are laughing and hugging in the store. I'm like, this is
that's so good.
So,
so good.
It's good. Some days are like that. And we've all, as Americans, we've lived through some tough years that joy was hard to find, but we do, I think, have to remember it's not about our circumstances. It's really a gift from the Spirit. So
as a young woman in school, middle school, junior, and high school, and then going off to college, you had a goal of, you got to find your husband. Never had any idea you'd be here. I call it the road to Damascus.
Yes.
Paul, who's Saul, thinks he's going for one reason, and then God says, "No, I'm going to make you blind, and your whole life is going to change." What advice would you give to young women who are struggling? They're kind of thinking they're on this path, they end up on this path. How do you just let it go and just let it be?
Oh my God, that's a great question because I've got 3 little girls that I need to, make sure.
There you go.
Have the answer to this. I just keep going and do your best and know that God has given us all talents and all gifts. And, and I laugh and say my cousins are the smart ones. And they got the business minded talents. And sometimes I do beat myself up and I'm like, gosh, I wish I could do an Excel spreadsheet. I wish it didn't make me dizzy to look at, but God does give us all different gifts and they all come together in unique ways. And just keep trying. Find something that you're good at, that you like to do because you are good at. And sometimes it may mean just having 6 jobs before you figure it out,
Right.
But being able to work is a gift. And Mattress Mac did say this. I heard him say this one time and I thought that is so true, that work is the best therapy. Like we were
I agree.
Well, I do too.
I agree.
We were made to use our gifts. And sometimes it takes a while to figure them out. And sometimes we what's the word? We make them seem not, I can't think of the word. We minimize them, I guess.
Okay.
And we think, oh, well, that's not a gift. Like for instance, I can make good bows. I can make really good bows for a wreath, but I'm like, well, that's not a gift. I mean, come on, I want to be able to balance an equation or, do an Excel spreadsheet. But you know what, when people come into Magpies and they want a beautiful wreath at Christmas and they couldn't make a bow for the life of them and they leave and they're joy filled because they've got a gorgeous wreath to put on their door and I got to make the bow.
I love it.
I'm using my gifts.
Right.
Sometimes it's not brain surgery. Usually it's not. But I think if we can hone in on what we're good at and what we can make a difference doing, and it might not be a Nobel Peace Prize, but maybe it's a wreath that makes somebody happy at the end of the day. So I just say, keep trying, keep working. Working makes you feel good. And then one day you'll end up figuring out what that work is that you're good at, that helps, bring you joy and makes you happy.
That is excellent. That is the perfect answer, Megan. And I want everyone to know that we are going to be having gift cards. So you can go experience all season long. You can go experience Magpies, whether it's Bel Air location or the Sugarland location. You can get cute outfits like my dress. You've got beautiful soft pajamas and slippers. Everything for the holidays for everyone on your list. Beautifully done. It's a loving place. And I think people will really enjoy it. And I'll tell you, when you talk to your little girls and they've missed you all day, and I know I had this crazy job for 31 years.
I can't even imagine.
My kids never saw me in the morning. What do you say to them? Because, you probably have that mom guilt.
Yes.
Yet you understand work is a gift. So what do you tell your little girls?
Well, I just tell them that, we all have to work to do our part, and that there's people at Magpies who are relying on me to be there.
Right.
And they've come up to the shop and they've
Oh, they
worked,
must
quote
love
unquote.
it.
And
Yeah.
so I do think it's important for our children to see us work hard, that things don't just happen. Like, you don't just get to buy a car, or you don't just get to go to camp, or you don't just get to go on vacation or go to the grocery store. You have to work for it. And so I do think it's important for us to instill those values in our children. And that's one thing that really makes myself and my two cousins really great partners, is that we were taught a work ethic at a young age. My mom and their mom were sisters, and they came from a family of 7. And we're all hard workers. I mean, there's never, in fact, I have to tell them, could you please take a day off? Like, you need to rest. And they'll say the same thing to me. But I just think it's important, it's that delicate balance, like you
Right.
said,
Right.
because family does come first. And at the end of the day, our greatest job is mothering.
Right.
But I think if we're true to ourselves and true to our families, we can do both.
We all work together. I used to get the kids always involved when they were little, and they
Yeah,
loved it. And
that's
now
yeah,
they see hard work.
because again, like Mattress Mac said, work makes us feel good and makes us feel a part of something. And even if it's just putting the spoons and forks away after the dishwasher is, ready to be unloaded, that's their job. And you're right, it does make them feel good that they're a part of how the system works in the family.
It's so true. It's so true. It is just such a joy to talk with you and find a little bit about the backstory. I was wondering who owned this beautiful place before you and your cousins. It was mom and your aunt, and the
Yeah.
name. I have to ask you about the name, and then I promise no more questions.
Oh no, I love
Magpies.
these questions. It's awesome. My mom's name is Maggie, and my grandfather used to call her Magpie when she was a little girl.
Oh,
And a magpie is a bird that it's funny. There's two different angles we can take. They're in Europe and Ireland, and they can be a little aggressive, and they chatter a lot, and they can be annoying to people. But we take in the positive spin, and
right.
they like to visit a lot, and they go and they collect things and they bring them back to their nest. Now, some people call that stealing, but we call it collecting. So
That is
we're
beautiful.
uplifting the magpie that sometimes gets a bad rap. But it kind of came together because mom is Maggie, and it's a bird that collects things and brings things back to the nest.
Beautiful. It's
So
beautiful. What a tribute. What a tribute as well for that name. I love it. And I love your Fa La 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 t-shirts, your Christmas tree t-shirts, your, was it festival sweatshirts with all the colored letters? Beautiful things. So people go check them out, Magpies. We're going to have lots of gift certificates. I'm also going to post on my Instagram and social media. I found my Dana's favorite list, kind of like Oprah's favorite list from some of your most beautiful items, and your Instagram. I would encourage people. You've got a beautiful Instagram.
yes,
What's the
Instagram is super engaging. When my cousin Patty's daughter Anna is awesome on Instagram.
She's your model.
She's the model, and she does
Yep.
the try on Tuesdays, and she's like, she was made for this job. She's part actress, and she is so creative and fun. And so she keeps our Instagram page very
Really
active
good.
and lively.
Really good. I think that's where I got the quote. Was it inhale good, exhale bad?
Yes,
Love
yes.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. Lots of inspiration there, lots of beautiful gift items too. And Megan, thank you for joining us. Thank
Oh
you for
my gosh.
teaming up with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is such a treat and such an honor to be, working with y'all. So thank
Well,
you. Thank you for helping Magpies out. We hope it's
absolutely.
a wonderful season.
Yeah, we will. We will. And you make our city shine even
Oh,
more. So thank you for being such an inspiring lady. We appreciate it. And I love talking with you.
thank you, Dana. Right back at you.